Hi guys, this is Ms. Carballo, and today we're going to talk more about functions and graphing and equations, but there's a special form called the slope-intercept form, which we were using during our whole savings project. So think back to the savings project, and every equation that you guys made from your savings was in this form, right? And the y was equal to total amount saved. This number in front of that we were multiplying by the x was the amount of money we saved per day. The x was the number of days, and then this plus something that we started with. So this is actually in a form, a special form called the slope-intercept form. So we're going to use that form to graph equations similar to like we did in the savings project. So write this form in here, and a linear function, which we're doing this year, only linear functions are functions that make a straight line on the coordinate plane. So our special formula is y equals, and then we had the amount of money saved per day here, but now we're going to put slope here. And the slope gets multiplied by the x value, whatever that is. And then we're going to add, and instead of what we started with in the piggy bank, this is going to be the number on the coordinate plane that crosses the y-axis. So this point right here crosses the y-axis. And you would think a good variable for that would be like y or a for axis, but it's actually b. B. So the B stands for the y-intercept. I don't know why they use letter B, but the B is where it crosses the y-axis, and we call that the y-intercept, like it intercepts the axis. And the M, we remember from our last lesson, the M stands for slope. And we're going to use this form today to graph lines on the coordinate plane. So if I tell you that a slope is 3 and the y-intercept is -5, and I want you to write it in that equation, we're going to put y equals, we're always going to start like that, and then slope is 3. So I'm going to put that slope right in front of my x value. And then this is a -5 is the y-intercept. So there's two ways to write that. You could just put -5. The other way is plus -5. Both are okay. All right, let's look at this one. We're writing the equation y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, right? And the b is the y-intercept. And we're just plugging them into our equation. So start with y equals. And then the slope is -1/2. -1/2 times x, and then again a -3. Two ways to write it: -3 or plus a -3. Try these bottom three, see if you can get the same answers as me. Pause here. Guys, check your answers. How'd you do? If you put a -1 in front of the x, that's fine. It means the same thing, right, as if it was just a -x. If you change this to plus a -7, that's also okay. This one, 5, 6x plus 0. In fact, sometimes you won't even see the plus 0 there, but, you know, because plus 0 would be nothing, so that might not even have it. And then -4x plus 1, since that's a positive 1 down there. Now we're going to take a graph and write the equation. So remember what M equals, slope. Remember that B equals the y-intercept. Where does it pass the y-axis? And then we're going to write our equation based on the slope and the y-intercept of this graph, okay? So I feel like it's always easy to find the y-intercept first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is at +5. So the y-intercept is 5. And the slope is rise over run to get from one point to the other. So if I rise 1, 2, 3, 4, and I run 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's positive over positive, rise over run would be 4 over 4, which is 1. So the slope is 1, the y-intercept is 5. So let's plug that into our equation. Y equals mx plus b. That's the slope, that's the equation we're going to keep using over and over again. Y equals mx plus b. So the m is 1 times x plus b, which is 5. Why didn't I put a 1 in front of the x? Because you don't have to, but if you do, it's okay. 5s are not looking good. That's all right. Okay, first, slope, y-intercept. It honestly doesn't matter which one you find. If you want to find the slope first, this goes down 1. And then it goes right 1, 2, 3. There's the slope. I can't simplify that. The y-intercept, it crosses. Where does it cross the y-axis? At -2. And then you're going to write your equation, y equals -1/3 x minus 2. All right, let's check on the back, see if this makes sense. We're basically looking at a line on a graph and finding the slope, the y-intercept, and then writing the equation using that information. So let's do 8 and 9 together, and then you're going to try the rest and check your answers with me. All right, y-intercept, where does it cross the y-axis? 0, which is the b, right? The y-intercept. The slope, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I go down 6, that's my rise, -6. And then I run 1, 2, 3 to the right, which makes it positive. So my slope is -2. Y equals -2 x plus 0, right? I'm following that y equals mx plus b. If you leave the plus 0 off, you're right. You're also correct. All right, let's try this one. Slope. 1, 2, 3. Up 3 is my rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right 4 is my run. And I can't simplify that, and it is a positive slope, so I know I'm good. And where does this cross the y-axis? If this is 0, this is -1. And then when I write my equation, y equals 3/4 x minus 1. All right, try the rest of the page, bring it up to your teacher to check for answers, and then watch the next video because we're going to do something a little bit different. Hope this helped, guys.